Get in focus, though. I don't really know if you want to be in focus for this. All right, click the links to my channel. Remember, check out the subscribe star. I put exclusive videos over there that are not PC enough for the other platforms, because even Bit Chute, eventually one day will succumb to the woke virus. Anyway, so keep in mind, this is the guy. This is a guy who made a joke about a beautiful blonde woman, a woman of the West, a woman of the light. And I'll show you the joke. And then he gets attacked in his comments, not because he hated a woman who may or may not be conservative. Oh, the horrors, a clean, safe society. Because he mentioned her hair color and her boobs, mainly her boobs, because by now I think most leftist useful idiots are kind of brainwashed onto the blonde person bad. So this is his comment. He's a kind of a low-grade comedian, YouTube comedian, small clip kind of stuff. I mean, good for him. It's a hard enough gig. But he goes, I, for one, am shocked that Sydney Sweeney, a blonde with huge boobs that works on classic cars for fun, has Republican parents. And then he gets dragged in the comments because they're talking about the boobs is one thing, but, the blonde hair is like, you're making fun of her ethnicity there. The blonde hair is, of course, not immutable, but her ethnicity is. And, we know what you're really saying, friendo. But the useful idiots go in on her, go in on him because of the boob comment. At some point, normie or not, or wherever you are in your journey, the rabbit hole, you got to realize that you can't try to meet goals with moving goalposts. You're just going to have to admit to yourself, oh, you really can't deal with people who hate you. There's no conceding and trying to placate somebody who they flat out hate you. And whenever you try to reach a goal, they're just going to move the goals until you've kind of been tricked into trying to reach goals that you had no intention of reaching if they had brought you those goals up front. And you're way, way beyond that point now where you should just stop and say, oh, there's no dealing with people who hate you because of being she's of European origin with blonde hair, which is kind of like an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but it's what you see before you. It's like they hate you because of who you are. You don't have to deal with those kind of people. They're dealing from, you're trying to deal, you're altruistic and naive and maybe gullible from a place of good faith and fair dealing to try to arrive at this capital T truth of, living in peace and harmony. That's not who you're dealing with. I mean, a lot of cases you're dealing with people who are human crocodiles. They want and want and want. You have to stop playing their game and stop dealing with them at all. And if you're in Hollywood and you're an actor, you're on social media, you got to be really careful. And to post family images on social media is, you just don't live in that world anymore. Social media is very antagonistic to people, the people of the light, the blonde-haired people. Or somebody posted, you got to be real careful with your posts. The thing is, you don't feed a fire oxygen, you post and ghost. So if you want to post something, you never come back to it. If Twitter, they ignore real world events, real world horrors that are happening in any city in America. You know the kind of stuff I'm talking about. To focus on this girl who went to a family barbecue. This is where they spend their emotional energy. So what happens, she goes to some family event and they have a barbecue and they're, cute blonde family who never did anything to anyone, much less these people on Twitter. They never hurt anyone. These are pawns attacking pawns. That's how effective brainwashing is. When the kings and queens are sitting back laughing their asses off at how they were able to manipulate pawns into attacking other powerless pawns and spend hours of emotional energy into attacking everything but the real topic. It's like they will break themselves avoiding elephants in the room to attack somebody who's completely without power. This actor who's like a C or D level actor. It's absolutely without power, and they will spend mass amounts of emotional this 2 minutes of hate focusing on her because she went to a family barbecue and they had cowboy hats. And I think that the dad, who's also a normie, had a blue line shirt on, which is, if coming from somebody on the right on some issues, I look at that and think that's just ridiculous. It's back to blue. Who do you think is going to enforce unconstitutional laws? Who do you think violates the First and Second Amendment every day of their lives? Unfortunately, that's the blue. It's just being on the right doesn't mean you have to be subservient. You can want a better police force. It's you can agree with the left in some regards, but these people didn't do anything. These are nobodies. I'm nobody. But they're focusing all their energy on this instead of focusing on actual malum in se events that happen in every city in America every day. This is where social media and these useful idiots, these Dunning-Kruger effect left of the bell curve, these idiots that just, they have no idea how dumb they are, and they're spending all this effing time focusing on this. You're like, oh, hey, maybe you guys should go a few steps up over these pawns, rooks, bishops, and knights to go to the kings and queens, to go to, like, you know, who's actually like pulling the strings? Who got you to hate blonde people? Oh, it's my lived experience. No, it's probably not. It might be possible if you looked at the Hollywood indoctrination or the critical theory, Frankfurt School, Saul Alinsky brainwashing you've had for the past 70 years in schools and through Hollywood. It might be possible if you looked at what they taught you and look at who they got you to hate. They got you to hate these people, and then you crack open a book and you start reading about some of the things that this hatred is based on. And you go, oh, this is not in accord with reality. This is a material misrepresentation of true events. Hollywood and these Marxist schools have manipulated people into this belief system where it's okay to hate one group of people. These people never hurt anyone. These people bring value to society. Oh, you don't understand. There was a Karen in the park. Yeah, there's Malum and Say events in every major city in America, and you're focusing on a Karen in the park because you've been so brainwashed into thinking that, yeah, that's the real issue. A Karen in a park. That's how powerful brainwashing is. And when you start to come out of it and you look at these people and go, oh, dear God. So if you're kind of starting to come out of that propaganda brainwashing, you start to look at this situation and realize, like, if you're some liberal woman, you go, we're trying to concede and meet their goals, but they keep shifting the goalposts. It's like, yeah, stop. They're not dealing with you in good faith. They're bad people. At some point, you got to realize, like, they're doing bad acts. They hate you. Stop dealing with them. They hate you. It's based on where you are, what area of the world you come from. You didn't do anything to deserve hatred. You have blonde hair and fair skin and light eyes. What would they call that definition of hate if you weren't brainwashed by social media? Oh, you mean they were the real bad people the whole time? Yeah, I feel like, people have been trying to tell you that for decades now. Yeah, they were the real bad people. They don't want equality. As soon as you reach equality, they shift the goalposts to equity. If they continue to shift goalposts, you'll never meet the goal, because the goal is power. The goal isn't any fixed. It's not a constant. It's a variable, and they always change the variable. Oh, you have to stop. One, you got to come out of it. You got to go down the rabbit hole and start admitting things, and stop trying to placate. It's just stop trying to feed a crocodile. It will never be satiated. Never apologize to SJWs. Never feed a fire oxygen on social media. And you gotta, this is tricky for the YouTube algorithm, so I still get that dollar from the video. To like address it, put on the they live glasses, realize what this is. They hate you. You didn't do anything to deserve it. They're in the wrong. You can't deal with them. They're human crocodiles. You have to admit they hate you. They're the opposition. Stop trying to concede to them. And that's like they always say, like, oh, you need to understand us. You need to understand us. You need to be allies. No, you need to be better people, and perhaps you should be allies to us if we're going to work together. You're not going to lead us because we don't lead you. If you want to work together, I think most people would be willing to work together to a goal, a better future. But it has to be a fair future. These people didn't do anything to deserve hundreds of thousands of hatred-based tweets on her being a beautiful blonde girl with boobs. So they hate you because you're a woman, partially because you've got a good body and also blonde hair. And well, like, what does that really boil down to? It's like, oh, it boils down to this European for the algorithm hatred that has been brainwashed, proselytized propaganda into the public for the past 70 years. It's so effective. It's so effective that they got pawns to attack pawns, and the pawns think that they're doing something. You don't understand. These are the bad people. These are our oppressors. The plumber in the 4x4 Ford truck that gets 16 miles to the gallon. Yeah, he's the oppressor, but he actually needs that truck because it's like the family truck. It's a 4-door truck. It gets 16 miles a gallon, but he has all the tools in it. He has roll-out racks, and then he takes the family to camping on the weekends. It's like it's a contractor's truck. It's full of tools during the week, and then on the weekends he'll take the tool belt out and go to the lake with the family. He's a guy who put in your floor. He's the guy who fixes your... No. He's actually the oppressor. Yeah, he lives in a $331,000 house in Boise, Idaho. Has a $65,000 truck, a very expensive truck for sure. A nice little house, but he's the contractor. He's doing good work. He's bringing value to the community. He doesn't hurt you in any way. You don't understand. He has a hat and sunglasses on, and he has fair skin, and he's of English origin. So he's the oppressor. You know, that's an example of pawn thinking, pawn attacking pawn. Is it possible you can kind of go a few orders of magnitude over his head to see who manipulated you into thinking this way? You know, obviously I can name the same names I always name on YouTube, and yeah, my time on YouTube is short. I mean, how many times can you name the 5 Puppet Master names on YouTube before you just get shown the door? I mean, I've said it 1,000 times before. It's like, by now you got to know. It's like, you know, you're brainwashed when you're focusing on a guy because he's got the $65,000 plumber truck. He's the contractor guy. You understand? He said an epithet once. Yeah, but he's not committing malum in se events. He's malum prohibita, maybe. But you've been so distracted to think that this person, this blonde family, is the people. They're not hurting you. They didn't hurt anyone. Wait, are you saying the media manipulated us? You're saying like it's all a lie? Yeah, and I say a whole lot more on Subscribestar. You can check me out there if you want to join up. It's pretty cheap. Or Odyssey Bit Chute. The stuff that doesn't make the algorithm for... I don't want to get kicked off Odyssey Bit Chute, so I put it on Subscribestar. Anyway, I will see you guys all next episode.